Welcome to the Hiring and Empowering Solutions podcast. This podcast is dedicated to providing the key ingredients to transform your employees into a dream team, creating consistent results in every aspect of your business, including your people, your process, and your profits. Your team empowerment, leadership, business development, communication, hiring, and firing. As some of the country's leading staffing and management consultants, we help business owners, i.e. entrepreneurs, and the team that support them, what we call intrapreneurs, to powerfully connect and work together to grow the business. All right, today I want to talk about uncertainty fatigue and the brutal reality of it. And it is a thing, and we are all suffering from it. You've probably read my past blogs, listened to my podcast where I'm speaking on decision fatigue. Naturally, most of you have heard of that, which really refers to the deteriorating quality of your decisions as a total number of decisions increase in a given day, week, especially as a small business owner. And I've been noticing on my coaching calls, consulting calls, our trainings that we conduct on a daily, weekly basis, and honestly, even with myself and others around me in my personal and professional life, that we are all experiencing this uncertainty fatigue as we try to navigate this stress, anxiety, and uncertainty of the COVID-19 pandemic, the election, just typical unemployment, decrease in business, another shutdown. There's rumblings of another shutdown on the horizon in the very, very near future. There's just a lot going on right now. And if only we had a time frame for how long this was going to last, or when we could physically go visit friends and family, when we could go travel. For personal and professional, I've been hearing from so many business owners, I can't wait to get in the room. I'm so sick of Zoom. Like, for my own growth, my own learning, I need to be in a room with other entrepreneurs. I'm seeing that on Facebook, social media, LinkedIn, where people are starting to have small masterminds and events where they are meeting in socially distanced, safe environments, and just the transformation that's happening of just getting on a plane. So many of you all know, especially if you've traveled often, as business owners, what happens when you get on a plane and you are locked in a plane and just the creativity comes, how much work you get done. I hear this from attorneys all the time, like, oh my God, my favorite thing is to get on the plane, get locked in that silver bullet, so to speak, and how much I get done either from a creativity and a brainstorming thing, from getting work done to really just mapping out frameworks for future-based projects, things of that nature. So we're all just desperate for it. And we wish that we had a time frame so we had something to look forward to. And right now, that's just not even happening, especially with the holidays coming. There's already all these memes and other stuff floating around in the World Wide Web in regards to restrictions on Thanksgiving, how many people you can have, things of that nature. So the anxiety, the uncertainty, the panic is increasing. And like I said, if we had a time frame for how long this was going to last, it would make it easier when we could physically go do the things that we are just craving to do. But unfortunately, with all the uncertainty that we have around politics and the election and the increase in numbers, and are we going to have another financial crisis that hits again, lockdowns, things of that nature, we really have to pay attention to uncertainty fatigue. That's what is for certain. That's where we have control, and that's absolutely the thing that we have to put our focus onto, and realize that the amount of uncertainty in our lives is actually making our brains feel very, very anxious because of the total volume of uncertainty that we are letting in. So we must pay attention to this and remember that, the outside circumstances that are leading the unconscious mind to a state of panic, literal panic and anxiety right now. And my favorite definition of anxiety that I ever heard is the root of all anxiety is lack of information. So when you anchor to that and you feel the panic, you feel the groundswell, you feel the frustration, you feel the just the energy really, really rise in you. And you're like, I don't know. Are we going to have a shutdown? Should I lay off people? Should I throw another, $2-4 at this marketing strategy? We're always hearing about these funnels and workshops and digital and social and Facebook ads. And what do? Do I throw money at it? Is it all going to shut down? I have to white knuckle every penny, every dollar that I have right now. And so when the unconscious mind is in that state of panic, that's where you get the anxiety because you have lack of information. And your understanding that this can create, a perspective and really lessen the impact, right? So if you are aware, step one of everything is awareness. So if you can get really, really aware that there's a tremendous amount of uncertainty right now, you have proof, you have evidence. And, Brene Brown always says, you can go on an evidence witch hunt. You can go on evidence for why I need to feel the panic. I need to be cautious. I need to be careful. There's a lot of tremendous trauma and uncertainty going on right now. You'll find evidence everywhere you want, from the news to social media to the people that you're talking about. Every gathering, the number one subject is about COVID. The second subject is about the pandemic. The third subject is about the shutdown. The fourth subject is about how everyone's going to be broke and homeless and destitute. About layoffs is probably the fifth subject. I can go on and the next subject's about homeschooling. The next subject is just the terrors of Zooms and working from home, what have you. There's no shortage of evidence there. I really would like to lobby for you to go on a witch hunt, on an evidence hunt for the good of what you do have control of. And I say this because let's think about it. While anxiety is heightened, the truth of the matter, the honesty of it all, as a small business owner, whether you're the employee or the entrepreneur or the PLA or the COO or the CEO, whatever it is, this uncertainty has been there forever, since the day you hung your own shingle. It ebbs and flows like a roller coaster, but that's the nature of being a business owner. A small business owner. That's just the nature of it. Now that we have all of social media, which is just so prevalent, more so even than 5 years ago, 3 years ago, and we have all this squawking in our mind space, all this squawking into our subconscious mind, we're getting, it's just amplifying it all. It's no different than 2008. Guess what? We all survived. We're still standing. And I would lobby for that we are all a better version of ourselves since then. Our business is a better version of that. We learned. We grew. And we pivoted. I hate that word, but that's the word that's coming up right now and what everybody's using. But we did. You always have uncertainty, regardless if you are a family law attorney, a divorce attorney, estate planning attorney. It's just the nature of being in business. So when we go anchoring to the truth of what's going on the outside world and putting our decision making and putting our hat, hanging our hat on while these are uncertain times, then it's just going to amplify and it's going to leave you in a place of fight, flight, or freeze. And your team's going to feel it. So honestly, if we can just anchor into the uncertainty as a business owner, how about we adopt that as one of our rules of engagement? How about we just anchor into that as one of the brutal truth? I always tell my team, we are in the business of change. They'll say to me, we're changing things, or we were going to do X, Y, and Z, and now we're changing it again. Yeah, we're a small business owner small business. I'm a small business owner. We're aware. We're in the right conversations. We're in the right rooms, whether it's physically in a conference or it's in a virtual mastermind or it's in a Facebook group with entrepreneurs and business owners and funnel hackers and marketers, what have you. And yes, we are in a business of change. Once I shared that and said, you guys have to stop anchoring to certainty and absolutes and structure and what have you. Yes, we have systems. Yes, we have processes to hold us there as a safety net. But if you can do that mind shift and really say, yes, these are uncertain times. Every day is uncertain times as a business owner. What's going on in the outside world? We have to shut off the noise. Yes, it's real. I'm not saying being ignorant and not being aware of it, but the goal is that you basically, as in a personal services and the professional services space, you are actually like an uncertainty strategist. Like that's what you do for your clients. They come in, they're scared, they're riddled with uncertainty, they're riddled with anxiety, and they're bringing in backpacks of stories from their neighbors, their friends, their brother-in-law, what have you, that had a similar situation, a divorce, a DUI, a bankruptcy, immigration, whatever it is. They're bringing their backpack of stories in there as well. And your job is for them to puke all that, dump all that, like just the visual of the junk drawer. Take it all, dump it all on my conference room, whether your conference room is in a Zoom room or your conference room is in a physical brick and mortar building. Dump all that out. And I am the uncertainty strategist. You all do that for your clients beautifully. Beautifully. I've witnessed it. I've seen the results. I've seen your intake process. I've seen your entire process where you are consistently lessening their stress and their uncertainty for others. Now it's time to do it for yourself. What do you tell your clients when they come in with these stories of, what's the first thing they tell you when you go to a doctor and you get diagnosis? I don't know, cancer, lupus, whatever it is. What's the first thing the doctor says? Stay off of Google. Do not go on an evidence hunt of everybody else's opinion, which is riddled with fear and misinformation. So give yourself that same advice that you give to your clients, which I know you all do, and really anchoring into that. Number one, here's our rules of engagement. And in fact, for your year-end retreats and your team meetings that you're doing with your team, I highly recommend you infuse this into the fabric and the culture of your business. Yes, these are uncertain times, but guess what? We are uncertainty strategists. Guess what? We're small business owners. We are very much have a boutique model where every client is connected to the heartbeat of our business. Our culture emulates solutions. Our culture emulates compassion, empathy, all the things of why people hire you, not for your binder of contracts and documents, and communicating that to your team. Yes, we are in the business of uncertainty, and that happened way before the pandemic. That happened way before 2008. That happened way before 9/11. And guess what? It's going to happen after all the election and everything else, regardless of the outcome. So let's go to the whiteboard. And anyone who's worked with me over the past 25 years knows this about me. When people come in and they're hot and heavy and they're scared and they're anxious and they're uncertain and they use these feeling words like overwhelm, which are not true. It's a feeling. And it's a feeling because you're just swimming in the soup of the stories and everybody else's BS about what's going on, whether at your desk or what have you, clients dictating, people delegating back up to you, or you're watching the news or you're watching a political debate. It doesn't matter. The way out is through. And that's the only way out of anything, including uncertainty. So you go to the whiteboard. You put pen to paper. And I highly recommend you do this with your team, where you're going to the whiteboard and say, we have to name it all. What are we uncertain about? Gonna lose my job. Gonna be downsized. We're gonna go through a shutdown again. We're gonna get fired by this client because I can't get answers from the attorney to review the document, or just name them all, puke them all out, dump the junk drawer of uncertainty out and name them. Okay, well, these are circumstances that we are dealing with right now. Let's talk about like the fabric. Let's put a line on the whiteboard, go to column 2. Let's talk about the fabric of what it means when we are in the business of uncertainty and we are uncertainty solution finders, strategists. Let's name it of what the uncertainty that we have. We're a small business owner. We don't know where the next client might be coming from. These are you're just naming them. Might not be truth, but these are things. When the calendar's not full, I feel, we're not guaranteed. We're not a big corporation. Just name all the things that we know as a business owner of uncertainty about cash flow, about clients, about the calendar, about marketing initiatives, whatever it might be. And then again, the way through uncertainty, overwhelm, frustration, insert indecision. We don't make decisions. I did a whole process on the business of making decisions. If you haven't seen that, reach out to me. I will give you the worksheet. I will give you the training. I will give you all that. That was something I did, a couple of years ago. And now, it's the same process really in regards to this uncertainty piece of it, and just naming it of where we're at, and then finding a way that we would be a strategist. And honestly, I would add a third exercise to this, which would be super, super cool for your employees. Okay, great. Now let's talk about the client's uncertainty and what they do. And for us being uncertainty strategists, let's name what the average or ideal client calling and coming into this law firm, what they're uncertain about. What is their uncertainty backpack filled with? And naming it, listing it. I'm afraid that I'm going to go bankrupt, or I'm afraid to get a divorce because then I'm going to be penniless and homeless, and he's going to nail me to the cross and take everything and take my kids away from me. Or if you're estate planning, I'm afraid to say out loud that I might have to put mom into the nursing home, or I'm afraid that I really have to exclude Bobby from the trust, or I have to get a trust to make sure that Bobby doesn't take everything because he's an alcoholic or a drug addict or what have you. Naming all of these uncertainties, you will get out of doing these 3 different areas. One about circumstantial, what's going on right now in the pandemic and the election and everything else. Number 2, column 2, exercise 2 is all about you all as a business of being in the business of uncertainty and being uncertainty strategists and naming it internally, regardless of what's going on outside. Regardless of the pandemic of COVID, of 9/11, and I'm not being, I'm not lack of empathy here. I'm just naming it as a business exercise to get you to shift your mindset. And then the third one is about the clients coming in, the ideal client coming in. These are your marketing messages, number 1. Number 2, it's a way for you to communicate to your team why people hire you, what you do above and beyond documents and contracts and litigation and all that jazz that we happen to do because we are lawyers, because we are law firms. But that is an outcome that we get. That is a feature that we serve. That is not a payoff statement. People don't hire people for the best legal documents. They hire people for emotional relief. They hire people for energetic and emotional freedom, financial freedom. It's all about freedom and peace of mind. And so this is what you want to communicate to your team, and exercising that and speaking into that. It's a great way to train them. It's a great way to check your process. It's a great way, if you scheduled a full day retreat and did this with ending with really identifying your top 4 power projects that come out of this, from, even especially with the uncertainty exercise with the clients and how you are the uncertainty strategist and really speaking into that, you'll be able to hit process. You'll be able to hit your people who's doing what to reach goal. You'll be able to hit your marketing messages. Highly recommend that you take that column and shift it off to your marketing department ASAP, because that is a way to get 60 pieces of content right out of that exercise between blogs, videos, webinars, social content creation, social curation that you can backpedal on, press releases, your language on your website, your intake form, and making certain that your intake coordinator, your client service coordinator is using these exact words to speak into. It'll be a phenomenal exercise for you all. So really for you, it's about shutting down the noise when it comes to your business. What you do from a personal perspective, I honestly would really encourage you to do it there as well, because so go, the coach, so go the coachees. Wherever you go, there you are. If you're sitting at home feeding your brain constantly with the news and social media and just getting knee deep into it, you're bringing that into the conference room. You're bringing that into the energy that you bring into your team, and when it should be a place of empowerment for them. So really, this is permission. This is a calling. This is where you have absolutely responsibility to yourself as a business owner to talk yourself off the ledge. Number one. Number two, to anchor into and shift your mind that yes, we are in the business of uncertainty. Absolutely. We always have been as a solo business owner, as well as being in the personal, professional, and relationship business where we are helping people. Our job is to calm people down and for them to feel lighter and better and hopeful when they leave our office. So that is something that we do for clients every day. Let's do it for ourselves. Let's start at home. Let's start at the office. Let's start with us. And when we get triggered, which we will, then we have something to anchor to. But this is a way for you to transition and transform your mindset around this and embrace it. And embrace it because the election's over. Okay, COVID's over. Okay, we're back to whatever the new now is going to look like, what have you. All right, now what? So many people that buried their head in the sand during this time and are just waiting and seeing, and they're suffering from severe uncertainty fatigue. It's like a deep depression. So all this stuff stops tomorrow or in a month. You cannot rebuild yourself and flip you on like a switch where, okay, now we're going back to business as usual. It doesn't happen like that. It's like the birthing process. It's like 9 months up, 9 months down. And if you have the financial means, the energetic means, the emotional means to survive that and to wait and to go through that entire birthing process of trying to recover, of being in shutdown for 9 months and just living in this place of worry and wonder and uncertainty and buying that as like eradicate it from your vocabulary. I always tell my clients, we're not talking about COVID. COVID's over. You have to just be 10 like it's over. Now what? You woke up today and it's like, oh, we're back to normal. It's just as it was March 10th or 11th or 12th. And now what? You're a human being. To recover from that and to flip the switch is not as easy as you think, as many of you know, because you've been through these times as a business owner and as a human for years. So I highly recommend sitting here. We're at the year-end sprint at 2020, ending 2020 strong, stronger than ever. And yes, it is possible. So give yourself the grace, give your team the time, give your team the attention, give your team the respect that you're going to close down the firm for a day and invest in this exercise with also walking out with 4 power projects that you can anchor to that are about growth, that are about life, they're about difference making, they're about influence, they're about impact, they're about income, they're about profit. And just turn off the noise and make a decision now that you are done with uncertainty fatigue, you're done with indecision fatigue, and we are starting 2021 now. Here in 2020. We're planning for it. We're burning the boats on this whole uncertainty that we've lived through for the past, 5 years. No, it's been 8 months or something. But still, come on now. Do not subscribe to this anymore. You own a business and leaders are out front and they're up front. And it's time for you to rise above and show up for your clients, for your team, and for yourself.